Making It Work is brought to you by Wealthsimple, which gives everyone access to simple, affordable investing on cruise control.
In his book, Getting Things Done, productivity consultant David Allen writes about a 2-minute rule. If it takes less than 2 minutes, just go do it right now. I've seen this applied to all sorts of things, from managing email to household chores, and for me, it's incredibly effective for managing money. Of course, my rule isn't that strict. It's really about just finding what works to motivate you to get necessary shit done. Done means my brain is clear of the mental load of remembering to do it, procrastinating, and guiltily remembering it again later. There's no action in that cycle for me, just stress. My 2-minute rule helps me keep a handle on my day-to-day finances without feeling like I'm spending all my time either obsessing over every dollar or avoiding trickier money chores. Instead of saying, okay, I need to completely get into my finances, budget that, verify this, overhaul my retirement, call so-and-so, and running out of time just by making the list, I try to break things into bite-sized tasks that take me under 2 minutes to do so. It's the lazy person's guide to money chores. Since they each take such little time, I can fit them into my day seamlessly. I even do them odd times when I'm not doing much of anything, like walking into work or on an elevator, or when I'm giving my eyes and legs a computer break. Some of them are tasks I don't even do regularly. So every week or so, when I check into my accounts, I add on another little 2-minute task. This year, I also stopped checking my email and social media when I grab my phone first thing in the morning. And now, I check in on my money instead. It usually lowers stress to check my accounts in the morning because I generally know what to expect. Plus, it calibrates my mind to my financial goals first thing. I can easily do these 5 things in well under 2 minutes each. Number 1, open my banking app and skim it to make sure everything looks normal. I recently had a fraudulent charge reversed in less than 8 hours because I caught it during a quick check and the charges were still pending. Since a lot of debit cards can hold you fully liable if you don't report fraud promptly, which to my bank means you have less than 2 days, getting this lucky was a big wake-up call. Number 2, log into my budgeting app to do a net worth check. And if you give a mouse a cookie, she might want to take a look at the goals tab while she's there. If I know my bottom line number, I know what I'm saving for, where my debt is, and what my priorities are, or whether they're changing. Number 3, pull up my budget spreadsheet. Even if I don't work on my budget till later in the day, I'm much more likely to spend a few minutes working on it if it's already open. I usually do a 2-week budget for each paycheck, so I update it at least once a week, but it's easy to blow that off. Seriously, my A+ laziness allowed me to constantly talk myself into avoiding it because I couldn't be bothered to open a spreadsheet. Now it's simply a part of my 2-minute routine. Number 4, grab a calculator and see what an additional 1% to my retirement plan would mean for my take-home pay. This is easy enough to Google. You can also punch your salary into a calculator, multiply it by 0.01, and divide by the number of pay periods in a year. When it's around the end of the year, I go ahead and start whatever process is needed to make the bump up. This could mean simply logging in and making the change myself, which definitely takes less than 2 minutes if I remember my password. Since I started saving later on in life than I would have liked, I like to check about halfway through the year to see if I can manage a second bump up too. Nerd bonus. I also add the new amount into an online retirement calculator to revel in how much more it can mean for me in 30+ years. Number 5, change a password. None of us do this often enough, and I'm not thrilled at how often I rely on Touch ID to log in. This week I used a few extra minutes at lunch to look into some online password keeper options. When I started spreading all of these little tasks throughout my otherwise wasted downtime, they started to feel less like chores. I started doing them more often and more consistently. Now checking on my finances has become a habit. I just do it in the background. Then I get to spend the rest of my time doing what I want.
Real talk. Do it in the background is one of the best mantras for staying on top of your money without taking up too much of your time. That's why companies like Wealthsimple make investing so much easier for regular people. Wealthsimple is online investing that's as simple and human as it gets. In just 5 minutes, they'll build you a custom portfolio to fit your personal goals and timeline. Just answer a few easy questions and they'll manage your money for you on autopilot. Set it, forget it, and let your money grow in the background. You can turn on automatic deposits as well as set up a smart savings account with higher rates than big banks for your shorter-term goals, your wedding, your next great adventure, or that handbag you need. They also have a socially responsible portfolio that invests in green stocks and companies that support gender diversity. The fees are much lower than big banks, and TFD viewers get a $50 cash bonus for getting started. Check them out at wealthsimple.com/TFD or use the link in our description. There are no account minimums and it only takes a few minutes to start. No excuses.